Welcome to In the Hot Seat with WRP. Hello, this is In the Hot Seat with WRP, where today we have a special guest. She is dear to my heart, grew up together, and she has a heart of gold. She's doing big things out here. She is the owner/founder of Wealthy Sisters with an AS, and the Hard Ford Group. I'm not going to tell you what she's doing. She's going to tell you. With no further ado, I'd like to introduce my dear friend, Miss Deborah Hardnett. How are you doing, Miss Hardnett?
I am doing amazing. Great morning, great day. It is an honor to be here with my brother. I tell you, his whole family, we grew up together, just as he said. So anytime I have an opportunity to fellowship with family, it's a great day.
Okay. Tell the viewers, listeners, what do you do? No, before that, give a little bit of background about yourself. Okay. Where you from? Where did you go to school? Did you grow up with a silver spoon in your mouth? All that. Give the listeners and the viewers a little background about yourself so they'll know something about you.
Well, I am a native of Atlanta. And for those of you all who are in Atlanta, well, Robert is from here as well. But Grady Baby, that's for the locals. And I've actually been an entrepreneur since I was 4 years old. You remember our home, right? You remember all those pine trees. And I used to charge our neighbors $1 to pick up those pine cones out of their yard since I was 4 years old. But it's in my blood. My father was an entrepreneur. He owned a record shop. Many people knew about it on Old Hunter Street as well. And then when my father passed, I was 6 years old. And, my mother didn't want to work outside of the home. So that's when she started the daycare, which everybody, she raised all the children in the neighborhood and then some. And so I saw her as well, as an entrepreneur. And she had that to almost, I was a senior in high school. But I was on that path because it's still, in that time, you got to think about the generations of entrepreneurship. Right? We don't, in our community, we didn't have the 2 generation, 3 generation. That's not something that's readily accessible, or especially when I was, starting out. So I was on that path because that's what we were told. Go to school, get your good education, and then you get that good job with the benefits. Being here in Georgia, we had Delta, Coke, and, UPS, or the post office or GM and all those companies. You get to retire. But I always went to school my freshman year, went away to Massachusetts and didn't really select the school properly, which I always tell people, with your children, make sure you have a balanced approach to that. So that was not a balanced approach, but it was a great experience. Still have some beautiful relationships from there. Came back here. And finished at Georgia State about 10 years later, after always having a business. You name it, any type of business, from cleaning services, lawn service. We also had investment. Well, we had rental property as well. And I've always been in marketing and sales in some aspect from that. And then eventually started our insurance agency back in 2008. And then the media company, Wealthy Sisters Media Group, back in 2009, where we serve business owners with all types of media solutions, digital solutions, all of their branding to help them package their messaging to their public. And then within our insurance agency, we focus on final expense for customers, building in the community, and we're very, very excited. Just added on an Aflac agency where we provide supplemental. You might have heard of benefits, such supplemental benefits or voluntary benefits. Those are those coverages that you see Dion. Those y'all seen those commercials, right?
Yeah.
Deion Sanders and Nick Saban talking about the gaps, because many times we know with healthcare costs, you've got high deductibles, large co-pays, and the co-insurance. And what Aflac does, it pays you, the consumer, right? The owner of that policy, cash money up front, lump sum money, policies like accident plans with your kids in sports, always breaking something, they'll pay you money. Their critical illnesses, God forbid someone has a stroke or 16 other major illnesses, it'll pay you lump sum money for that to help. And you can use whatever, you want with that money as well. And then other plans, hospital, life insurance, which is term and whole life. So that's where our focus lies today in business. And really, at this stage, being able to serve and help others as they're starting as well.
You elaborated on you being an entrepreneur since the age of 4. What do you think the difference is between someone just running a business and being an entrepreneur?
That's so amazing, because it's beautiful to see today the term understood from day one. Right? Like, to kind of go back to what I was talking about back in the 80s, it was not understood. And I was still on that path of looking for the jobs, but I get a job and do well. I mean, have no problems there. They want you to go into management and all of those things. Yeah. But I just never didn't feel right. Yeah. And because everybody around me was going to school, working and getting those great jobs and all that, I always kind of felt like, what's wrong with me? I will work somewhere 1 year and just like, I can't. This is not. I got it, because I'm always thinking about business, always. And, to answer your question, entrepreneurship and business owner, it really is the same thing. It's just a term to embrace. For me, that's what it means for me. It's more of embracing the whole ideology of it. Because you can be a business owner, but where is your mindset? And I think the mindset of a business owner can make them an entrepreneur, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Okay. And I like how you said mindset. You have to have the right mindset to be an entrepreneur and a business owner, because I think that's the difference. Because if something is not working, you have to pivot. Because why am I going to keep, going down the same road if not getting any results?
Right.
What's the definition of insanity?
Right. Doing the same thing over and over and over.
So
expecting a different result.
Yes. So can you elaborate on mindset, why you need a strong mindset in business and as an entrepreneur? Oh,
my goodness. Yeah. First of all, back to the programming that I was talking about, or what, we still to this day, even though young people are embracing entrepreneurship, they're coming out of school or may not even be going to school, because personally, I don't think you should waste money on school unless you are going for a specific, like if you're going to be an attorney. My daughter is in engineering, right? But if you're just talking about business management, you can start a business or work for someone and, under their tutelage and learn from them, because the mindset it's a different way of thinking. And our school system and our system today is still programming people to work for people. So you look at what happened back with the Industrial Revolution, right? Of course, first it was agriculture, industrial revolution, and that's when all of the colleges were created. And why did they create those colleges? To have people to know how to work, to work the good job, to how, to know how to report, when to, don't be late, this and this. So that programming is
Yes.
still in place.
Yes.
And the difference, to answer, the difference is those that break free from that programming and understand that you have to change your mindset. You have to remove yourself from what everybody else is doing, that's on that path of working a job, which is nothing wrong with working a job, especially if you're in sales. I always tell people, don't be afraid, because the salesperson is the one that brings the bread and butter to that company. A lot of people are afraid of that word, sales. But I'm telling you, a lot of you guys, you want to be in control of yourself and control of your schedule. In sales, there's no limit to your income.
Absolutely.
Right? But to bring it back in, to answer your question again with the mindset, getting around people who think like you. Reading the books. And I think it's important to push reading, because y'all saw what happened a couple of days ago with all this digital.
Yeah.
I mean, it's great we've got a lot of audios and CDs and things that are now been put on YouTube and podcasts and all, like your show. But getting to books that talk about business, whatever type of business you're in, being able to study more of your craft and understanding. So I think that is the difference of an entrepreneur and a business owner, that really embraces that, of course, and they understand that it's a difference.
And I'm still elaborating on this mindset. What if, someone comes up to you, Deborah, and say, well, all my friends, they're doing the same thing, my inner circle, but they're just so negative. When I tell them, this is what I want to do, but then they just shoot me down every time I give them an idea. What would you suggest to that person?
Run.
Absolutely.
Run. Now, you've got family. When we go spiritually, we look at leadership, any type of leadership. It doesn't have to be spiritual. But leadership in general, it's always, whenever you look at a coup attempt, whenever you look at someone who is taking over that shouldn't be taking over the successorship, it is a result of somebody being close to you.
Yeah.
And a lot of times we can't separate the fact that this is my family, I love them, or this is a good friend. Some of our friends, let's face it, if they are not adding or multiplying, they're only subtracting and dividing you, that's not who you need to be around. And if you want to know where you're going to go, like we always used to say, look at your 5 closest friends.
Yep.
Do the sum total of their income, what their efforts are, and that's where you're going to be. It's just a law. It's just a law that you cannot erase. The law that God has put in place. So I would say, again, get around people that are doing what you're doing. It's no excuse today. You can go on any social media,
YouTube University.
Exactly. Pay the little difference. It used to be 9 something, now it's 13 something, so you don't have to get commercials. But also get to the groups. Get with people that are doing what you're doing. And let that be your circle, your mastermind, as we know Napoleon Hill talks about. Get people that are doing. And I say this, and I know it's hard today, because especially dealing with technology and the internet, how it has brought information right here to our fingertips. And I love the energy that it gives to our younger generation. Well, one thing I want to make sure they recognize that's information. Experience is something you cannot Google, right?
That's right.
I got that from this lady I met who was chief marketing officer for this bank. And she said she'd tell her team of millennials that you cannot Google experience.
I never heard it that way.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but the information is there. It's
There.
not their
Yeah.
fault.
Yeah.
That the information is there and they have it, but it can kind of give a false sense of, I know what I'm doing. I know everything about it. I'm saying get with people who are seasoned in that. Find you mentors that now, of course, it may not be any mentors if you're in the digital space. Like you said, we were talking older or something. Some people our age are not really in that digital space. But you've got to find people that at least have been doing things a little longer, so you can. We're at our age. All we want to do is give and share.
And I like how you said mentors. Did you have a mentor throughout your journey?
I have been blessed. I have had people that just naturally
Poured into you?
right? And because, again, I think about internships. Like my daughter's on an internship. This is her second one. And she has, getting paid. We didn't have paid internships, which is, I'm happy she getting paid as her mother.
Yeah.
But being so hungry that you want the information that you will work for free. I cannot tell you how much I did where I didn't get what is the physical currency in my hand, but the knowledge I got and the relationships, which is key. Relationships mean everything. That's more valuable than any money. Any money. And the relationships, being able to have relationships and connecting with people, that was a blessing for me that I was always hungry. I showed myself that I was loyal and that I was eager to learn. And you'll find people want to pass that, want to pass and share. So I've been fortunate to have, those mentors in my life. And being younger, not saying I always listen in the exact way, but being able to have them has been priceless for me.
Do you currently have a mentor?
I do.
Okay.
I do.
Wow.
I do. I have a few mentors.
Okay.
And particularly in different phases,
Yeah.
always needing to be around people that are sharper than you. Like, again, we can use all the cliches, but it's true. If you are the sharpest one in your bunch, that's the only place you're going to go.
We hope you're enjoying the information you're getting from the channel. Please stay tuned and In the Hot Seat with WRP and subscribe.
Where do you find your inspiration?
Oh, to keep going?
To keep going, How do you differentiate yourself from others? That's the back part of that question. Where do you find your inspiration, and how do you differentiate yourself from others?
Well, I'm inspired by solving. As a business owner, we solve the problems. We create solutions. So I'm just naturally driven, programmed that way. We have that question all the time. Can people be motivated? Can you motivate someone? Or can you inspire someone? I find inspiration first and foremost through God, through the how he created me. I'm very grateful for the mindset that he's given me, and the diligence, the relentlessness that he has given me. So first and foremost, that's where my inspiration comes from. But being able to, like I said earlier, surround yourself through people, around people that are stretching themselves, that are achieving different levels of success, whether it's professionally, personally, within their family life, within their relationships. That inspires me. Being in nature inspires me. Being with my children, inspires me to want to do more. And being a servant, having that mindset and a servant heart, I'm inspired to provide more for people. Because we can see the world that we're living in today, right? And the reality is everybody is not going to be an entrepreneur. Everybody is not going to be a leader, right?
Right.
But who's going to help the people that need help?
You're so right.
Who's going to provide a job for that young lady, that young man that needs to provide for his family? That's, as business owners and entrepreneurs, that's where I find my inspiration, being able to help. Just my husband and I were talking about that the other day, about one project he was working on, and he saw it, and at the time he was working for a lady construction company, and he inspired her to take on this assignment in New York. And he saw it, and when he was there, he said he just had a moment to see the employees. It was around the holiday time, although, and he could see the excitement that they had for being able to get things for their family, their wives, their children. And then the stores, he connected how, wow, I've been able to help bless the business owner of the store because I was inspired to take this assignment here, to do this job here. So when you look at things on, you break it down versus just all flowing, you look at the individual parts, how everything comes together. That inspires me to know that I have to do my part, because at the end of the day, for me, as you asking me, there is a time that I'm going to have to answer. I'm going to have to answer, what did I do with my life? I'm going to have to respond to certain questions. How did I serve people? How did I help people? And I want that answer. I want to be able to give a great answer. I don't want it to be where I'm mute and can't say anything.
Yeah.
Right.
And, being in a world today, Deborah, everything that we see is so much negativity on the news. When you're out and about, staying in that mindset, you have to be around positive people. What do you do, or how do you distance yourself from any type of negativity?
Well, the news, is funny you said that. I don't watch the news. I've stayed away from, I couldn't tell you the local, nothing. Like moving back to Atlanta and seeing all these new faces and I'm like, what is, I've stayed away from that for years. If you pass an accident on the road, I send blessings. I don't look over that way. I pray that all is well with that person. But I don't look over there because I don't want that visual in my head. Because when you're driving right down the road, I saw that, and then I've got this visual of me. I don't need those visuals in my head. I am, because I'm more in tune now. As converting to Islam, I realize I do need to be more sensitive to the world, and there's some serious things that are going on around the world. So I am in tune, but I'm not like some people watch that all day, all the networks all day. First of all, they're lying. Believe half of what you hear. What you say? No, half of what half of what you hear, and none of what you hear, and half of what you see. I think it's something like that. But there, you can see the lies that they're spinning and telling, and everything. This whole, it's like you have to. I think when you pull yourself out of this system that they have for us, you can see. So I stay away from that. Gotcha. And I spend time replacing it with things that can build me, that can nourish me.
Gotcha.
That can help me grow. spending time with the people,
Okay.
that I
right.
want to be with.
Okay. What type of challenges do you currently face as a minority female business owner? What type of challenges do you face every day with the Hartford Group and with Wealthy Sisters?
Well, I think that's a great question. That's a great question. I've been in businesses that deals with marketing and sales. And generally, those are all about the numbers.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you don't have it. The compensation is what the compensation is. Okay. If I go and do the work, I have to get the compensation. Now, there may be some little extra little nuances that a certain company might have available, certain resources that they may have available that they don't share with someone. They share it only with the people that's in their network, which again, why I talk about the importance of relationships and having that. So I can't say directly. Of course, there's always things that I could list. I can't say my business model is necessarily affected that way, even with my company. Now, resources, of course, that's always a challenge, whether it be the right employee and resources, capital to expand in certain areas and things that you want to do. There, I think exposure sometimes to opportunities, things of that nature. There could be challenges, but there are certainly other businesses that have greater challenges, than my particular model does.
Okay. How, excuse me, how do you continue to develop and grow your brand?
Wow, I mean, you got to be awake 24/7. You just have to be aware. You have to get outside of yourself and get outside of the space. And first of all, know that things change.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Things change and things evolved, and timing is everything. And there's going to be certain, like you started earlier talking about, knowing, should I continue to do this? And this is like insane. I'm not getting any results. There are different measure things, different, I guess, ways you can measure what to look for in a business, the signs. And if you are in a space like Blockbuster was,
Yeah.
okay, you remember Blockbusters. We were there, rushing there every Tuesday, Friday, getting in line, before everybody else. And here comes the digital space. But they didn't pay attention to. Somebody didn't do their homework. Somebody didn't step back and listen that there is possibly something is going to change here.
Same thing with the record store. I remember, what do you say, Green Brown Mall. What was that? The record bar?
Peppermint.
Yeah, Peppermint
Records, right?
You have to pay attention.
Right. And we get so busy, especially as small business owners. We get so busy in the daily operations. And that's one of the things that we do with Wealthy Sisters Media Group on our digital solutions. And we call ourselves media solutionists. We're not just focused on the media. We do business consultation as well. We help you with that. And our whole thing is, most of the time, 85% of entrepreneurs are spending all of their time, most entrepreneurs spend 85% of their time on the daily operations versus being able to develop themselves. Getting a coach, getting in professional peer groups, something like a Vistage or something, the BNI, taking time out to network, to do the business development for your business. But when we're so on that hamster wheel, that we're not able to recognize that it's okay, 1 year, 2 year, 3 year. They don't need this. They don't need your type of business anymore. Like, if you're a writer, how are you pivoting your business?
Absolutely.
With AI.
Yeah.
Now, not to say that people right now that use AI, you still have to be intelligent enough to know what to ask. And I don't mean to say that you're not intelligent. You have to have the knowledge to know what to ask AI to help you with what project you're working on.
Absolutely.
So, but if you're in that space as a writer and you still pushing, it's some type of way, you can still be a writer, but you need to figure out how you need to embrace this new technology or how you can make yourself set apart from that to begin changing your marketing message.
Yep. You always have to, you may have to pivot.
Yes. We have to pivot.
Yeah.
Every company pivots. Nothing. Look at Chick-fil-A. A perfect example of what they are doing now. If you notice their models, now they're building drive-thrus, not just a regular drive-thru. The new one that's right there in Stockbridge, McDonough, right by the new Costco's, it's huge. And all of the kitchens and everything is on the top floor, and they've got these drive-thrus where you can see the little waiter, the dumb waiter elevators for the food that they're going to lower it down for the drive-thru. I've watched them since COVID.
Wow.
Because they saw how they took it. COVID made them pivot. In dining experience. Now more people come through the drive-thru than you see them going inside. They're focused more on that.
Yeah.
That's a perfect example of how
And they have it
you
down
have to pivot.
science too.
How you have to pivot.
Yeah.
And we, as small business owners, I talk to people that need websites. Still today, they want to argue and say they don't need one because they're still getting business. But why are you allowing your good to be your great? When you can expand. So, again, it goes back to the mindset on that.
Okay. All right, we're going to switch gears now. We're going to start talking about health and lifestyle. How do you decompress after an exhausting day at work?
You know what? I love what I do. I love what I do, and I think it's important for you to love what you do.
Yeah.
And that can be a double-edged sword because sometimes you don't know how to stop. So I have every night, I drink it in the morning. I drink my cup of ginger root tea that I boil and I make sure that I exercise in the morning. It's easy. If I don't get it in before the day, then it's very hard for me to do it in the evening. Definitely watching what I eat, what I intake, my water. I'm so glad you asked that because that is so important. All the wealth that we obtain means nothing if our health is, it means nothing. So it's really important to stay away from the processed stuff. Those things affect our mind. It affects our thinking, how sluggish we are, So I take, supplements. There's so many things that I do on that end.
Because a lot of people, they don't, like you said, they don't understand that it coincides. What's the point of building wealth and you don't even get to enjoy it with your friends, your family?
Right.
Because I know, and I'm sure you know too, our parents' generations, they weren't thinking about, health at all. And it's up to us to show our kids that it is important. What I'm doing now, my kids see what I'm doing. I made a lifestyle change.
Right. Right.
And because I don't want to be popping pills, like my parents,
That's right.
That's
right.
And health is very critical.
It is very critical. It's very critical. You're right. I mean, and you got to look at the generation thing again, because all we're doing is what, let's say, our grandparents did. We didn't have all these synthetics, right? And still growing up, with my grandparents being in the home, I was exposed to knowing how to plant, knowing how to garden, seeing how to prepare food. There was a shift when they started pushing all of this processed stuff on us, like the margarine. Y'all use a margarine, throw it away, do not buy it. Okay, all that kind of stuff, having us to go to this low fat and no sugar, and it's worse. Like you look at most people that just drink Diet Coke, you look at it's not.
The funny thing about it is they think drinking Diet Coke and they thinking they're doing something.
No, it's not. It's worse. Butter, eat real butter. Don't anything low fat. All of that. That's a whole nother conversation we could talk about. But those, just really understanding that really it is a connection. Really, it's a real connection with what we digest, what we put on our skin, what we brush our teeth with, what we use as deodorant and soaps and the phones. All these things are coming at us, all these different things in the environment. So we have to be on a mission to be detoxing constantly,
What's the old adage? You are what you eat.
You are what you eat. And we really should eat to live versus living to eat.
Yeah. I mean, it's just, like I said, we can, talk hours about that.
Yes.
It's just,
yes. I mean, you look at it. You look at the farmers. Well, let me stop right there.
Okay.
Let me stop.
All right. Let's get back on track.
Yeah.
Let's get back on track. Okay. Have there been any particular resources or communities that have been helpful in getting the word out about what you do?
Well, the internet, being able to, at the beginning with social media, the way when it first came out, around we really 06, 04, being able to build relationships, it's in essence what we, I say we generation of business owners, we were excited to be able to connect with people all across the world. And to share, so those tools, those resources, I say the internet, social media, has been a great foundation. I mean, we hosted, when I was in the DMV area, the Winter Summit, which is, we still own the rights to that, which is a businesswomen's conference. And we had literally women from all over the world, from the Congo, from London, from Jamaica, from New York, to Atlanta, all over the world. And it was because of the resources of the internet and the social media, being able to connect. We connected online, but we came offline. We met online, became offline, and began to build relationships and rapport. And so I'd say that's a huge resource. And organizations, professional organizations, being able to be a part of those. I always encourage people to become a part of whatever industry you're in, some type of professional organization.
And speaking of professional organizations, can you expound just a little bit? Because some people don't really understand what this means. They just get involved in organization after organization. You have to be involved with an organization that has a purpose. You're going there with a purpose. Can you expound upon that?
Oh, yeah, that's true. You're very intentional with about what organization you, like you're saying, you need to make sure that organization aligns with your values. And the people there are people that do what you do, or are those that you can serve, your customer base. And it's not about going to an event and, I used to say pass out cards, which I still pass out cards. I also have the digital as well. But it's not just tapping, giving someone your digital, but it's the follow up. It's the follow through.
follow-up.
Hey, how can you and I come together? How can we serve each other? Being upfront and honest. That's what I liked about LinkedIn. That we are all here. There is no question about we are all here to grow our business. And I want to connect with you to see how we can collaborate, how I can serve you, benefit you, and in return, perhaps benefit through monetary gain or relationships, what have you. So I think it's really important to make sure that you follow through and you act on building those relationships. You cannot beat it. I tell my daughter that, all the time. She's traveled, done quite a bit of traveling. And I mean, just on relationships, being blessed is nowhere that she can go. Nowhere that she can go that I can't pick up the phone. And if I don't know somebody in that area, I know somebody that knows somebody that will not mind because we have taken time to cultivate relationships. I care about them. I remember that they have children. Like, you've got to know something about this person, getting back to the humanity side of it. People really don't, what do they say? They don't remember what you say or what you do, but they remember how you make them feel. And that's at the core of those relationships. So, it's important to make sure you doing the work, not just collecting the card and waiting. I hear people say that all the time. I went to this event, I went to that event. But who did you follow
meet?
up?
The fortune is in the follow-up.
Did you just stand around and just think that somebody's going to run and jump on you and say, and then don't think that because today, oh man, I mean, things are happening right now in our business that is a result of seeds I sowed years ago. Right? Patience. So I know, again, we want everything right now. Trust me. I'm one of those. I want it now. But I know it's about timing.
Absolutely.
And it's not going to always, just because you met this person today, and you don't make a sale with that person today, you don't know where that's going to lead you down the road.
Absolutely. Okay. What advice would you give an aspiring entrepreneur who wants to cultivate an entrepreneurial mindset but doesn't know where to start? What type of advice would you give that person?
Congratulations for tuning in to this show. This is what you need to do. You are doing it. The fact that you have that desire and now naturally you're seeking out, information that can help you. So like I mentioned earlier, we talked about YouTube University.
Yes.
Getting in that space where whatever it is that you want to do, getting in that space and associating yourself with it, learning, consuming yourself with it, getting out, meeting people that and offer your services to them.
Getting out of your comfort zone.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. You got to get out of your comfort zone.
Stretch yourself. Stretch yourself. Right.
Okay. What has been the most rewarding part of your journey thus far?
Well, as a mother, being able to say that my daughter has never spent one day in daycare.
Wow.
That I've always been there for her. She'll be 21 next month. That and then my bonus daughters, being able to be there for them, now in a way to assist my husband and their mother. And to see my daughter, she had an internship they had, and I won't name the university. I won't say it right now. But they hadn't paid them. They were supposed to get paid. She's been there since May. And they were supposed to get paid like the first 2 weeks. Oh, man. She was patient. But by week 6, I got so much joy in seeing her Like, wow, she been listening. She was not. I said, are any of your other, colleagues, your other co-interns, are they doing anything? No. But she was calling. She was writing emails. She was going down to the payroll. She was on it. That made me feel so good to see that my child was not just letting somebody feed her a spoon of sand, that she was being proactive. Just watching her, I always said, stay focused. Don't let people get you off your track. And when she's in school, I can't talk to her because she's focused.
She's focused.
So that's my reward, to see that she is carrying it on and understanding the importance of being intentional, with your life. That is priceless for me to think about that. And it's all through God's grace and mercy. Of course, I have to give him the full credit for that.
Okay.
But that's my reward.
Do you have any regrets in business or personally? And if so, how did you turn those regrets into triumphs?
Oh my goodness. I mean, you're going to always have opportunities for regret. Connecting with some people that you wish you hadn't connected with, or if you slowed down a minute, or being, just afraid of stepping out, or overthinking, or what have you. And being, that whole thing of what's going to happen, fear,
Fear of failure.
Yes, all of those things. But again, back to your original question about motivating. If you're inspired, you're motivated, that you got some people looking at you, your children, they looking at you, they depending on you. What? I mean, we can't lay down.
Yeah.
I would say, we got to get a little bit tougher now. We grew up. My husband says I'm hard.
Yeah, you gotta have skin as thick as a rhinoceros.
Man, you got to be tough.
Yeah.
And people crumble because, they didn't buy my. It's
told
numbers.
They told me no.
They told me, right, it's numbers. It's no magic to it. Yeah. So you get up, you dust yourself off, have you some ice cream, do whatever you need to do, and get back out there and fight. Because if you don't kill, you're not going to eat.
You're right about that. I know when I went out on my own and opened up my law firm, you have that, those jitters, but if you know you have it in you, nothing else matters.
Right. And again, being around, that's why it's so important, having the people in your circle that you can draw on, that you can get strength from, that can encourage you. Oh, man, don't worry about that, Robert. I'm going to tell you, that same thing happened to me. This is what I did.
Yeah.
Oh, this is how you do this. Deborah, this is how you do this. Oh, now that happens. That's real. This is how you want to take, this is your course of action here. That has been that blessing right there, to have my mentors tell me, oh, I went through that. This is how you do handle that.
If you're going through that, hey, you're doing the right thing.
Right. Right.
Cool. Okay. As we're getting ready to wrap up, I want you to give the viewers and listeners a hot seat or an embarrassing or uncomfortable situation that you've been in. And how did you handle it? You give one or two.
One or two.
Yeah,
I
one
can
or
think
two.
of several.
Yeah, so.
Okay. So I was doing a presentation in New Orleans. And before I was there at the hotel waiting to do the presentation, I had some gumbo. And the gumbo didn't work, if you catch my drift. I'm in the front, doing my presentation. Got my mic and got the pointer, and all of a sudden I felt, I said, don't move. Fortunately, it was a room where a door was right here, where I was. And I said, how am I going to handle this? And I said, Lord, if you get me, next thing I know, it was like, if you don't get out of here, it's going to be over. So I took the remote, threw it in the hand of one of my colleagues, Sherman. You remember him? Threw it in his hand and ran out the door, and it was not a good sight.
Gotcha.
In that restroom. It was so much so that I didn't go back in that room. I peeped and said, give me my bag. Y'all keep my computer. Y'all keep my projector. I'll get it later. I got to get across this Pontchartrain and get back because we had our commuter spot in Baton Rouge at that time. I got to get back to Baton Rouge. But those moments are priceless because I tell people, you got to be able to laugh at yourself.
Yeah.
I used to do presentations intentionally with runs in my pantyhose so that people could know that you're approachable, that you know that you're not so perfect.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That you can be more relatable and they can receive the information that you're sharing more. So those raw moments like that, having where I could laugh at myself.
Yeah.
It was embarrassing, yes.
But you got through it.
But I got through it.
Yeah.
I got through it.
Okay. All right. Let the listeners and the viewers know how to get in contact with you. Could you give them your contact information?
Absolutely. I am Deborah Hardnett. Deborah C like Charlie, Hardnett, Hardnett. I am on LinkedIn. You can find me there. My website is Wealthy Sistas, SISTAS.com, or the Hartford Group, THEHARDFORD group.com. And we are always available at 800-917-9435.
Do you have anything else?
Well, congratulations to you, Robert. Okay. I think what you're doing is awesome. Congratulations to your team here, and I wish you continued success on all that you're doing with your show and sharing with other entrepreneurs. And may they continue to be blessed by this great content that you are providing them.
Well, I appreciate that. And with that, we are out. In the Hot Seat with WRP. Welcome to In the Hot Seat with WRP.